live coverage of XpoNorth as it happens. This is XpoNorth Live.
The Skids, Van Morrison, Frank Zappa, Mott the Hoople, Sinead O'Connor and the Waterboys. A pretty varied lineup, I think you'll agree. The man behind the glass, working all his magic in the studio, is record producer, mixer and engineer Mick Glossop. Mick, what do you need to be a great studio engineer? A good pair of ears?
A pair of ears, a lot of patience and intuition, I'd say.
I was just saying beforehand about my admiration for you working with Van Morrison since the 1970s. That must be longer than most of his relationships.
I guess so. I mean, it was on and off. It wasn't continuous all the way. So you need to take a break from time to time from each other.
Yeah.
But no, I've been a fan for a long time.
Yeah, I love Van Morrison, but he's a very special kind of person to deal with, I think.
He's very spontaneous. I mean, one of the things I learned early on was to always expect the unexpected, so you've got to be prepared. In terms of technicalities, he's not really interested in anything other than the performance of the music. So that meant that we were operating in separate areas, really. I dealt with everything that made that possible. So we never really talked that much about how the record was going to be made. He would perform, and I'd make sure that all of that was recorded, and then we deal with all the other enhancements afterwards. But it is a very really easy relationship in that respect.
I mean, you have worked with a huge spectrum of people. What's the selection process? Do you have to like the music?
Yeah, yes. I at least have to respect it. But it's something that, you spend 12 hours a day for a long time in the studio with people. You need to have some appreciation of what they're doing, otherwise it would be tedious.
There have been so many changes in the field of record production. I sometimes wonder, and this is why I'm asking you, do you think sometimes tech gets in the way of creativity nowadays?
Not for me. They're all tools, and you select. It's like a musician with an instrument. You select the tools that you need to do what it is you need to do, but you always have in your mind what you're trying to achieve when you're making the record. And the music's the focal point of the whole thing. So, sure, it would be boring if it got in the way, I think.
I mean, conversely, has technology made the process more creative? Has it given you more things, more toys in the playground?
Definitely a lot more tools to play with. That's not to say that I couldn't go back to the 70s now and still make records, certainly. You work with whatever's available. I've worked in a lot of situations where technology has been very, very restricted, and you kind of work with what's there. And if you give them more tools, then you exploit them. So.
Now, you started out as an engineer. Mm-hmm. Was it always a passion of yours, music?
I've always, yes. I played in bands at school. I'm a frustrated musician, a frustrated artist anyway, so I kind of take it out on the people I work with. You know? So yes, it's always been a passion. It's always been the centre of what I do. I didn't actually have an ambition to be a record producer, but it's one of those transitions from an engineer, because an engineer and producer work together as a team, and so it's a very easy transition to make once you've got some experience and an aptitude for it.
I mean, is there such a thing as a happy accident in the studio? Is there? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, you almost look for those things, but you have to be open for them happening and make sure you don't get in the way of those things happening. But that's one of the aspects that makes it so stimulating working in the studio, because you never know when those things are going to happen, and it knocks you out when you hear them. So you just got to make sure you record them.
Can I prompt you towards any in particular that you can think of? Or am I putting you on the spot here?
It's difficult to remember, because those kind of things happen all the time. Just things like a particular. You might say that quite often with vocals you record a reference vocal, which is for the benefit of the other musicians, and it's not intended to be kept, but there have been situations where that's been the master vocal and it's never been repeated, and so that's been a surprise sometimes, because you think the singer's going to just sing the song and not put that much into it. But particularly with Van, for example, he always puts everything into it, so you get some surprise performances like that. So it's not exactly an accident, but no, it's an unexpected kind of bonus.
Now, here we are at XpoNorth Live. I know you're an old hand here. Your fourth time here?
Yeah.
There you go. And it's very much about emerging talent, nurturing emerging talent. Do you have any tips, any advice for the budding next Mick Glossop?
Well, keep at it. A lot of determination. Seize every opportunity, and I mean they're few and far between. They always have been. But if you find yourself in a situation that you can jump on, then don't hesitate. Just get in there and do it. But yeah, I mean you have to be prepared to work for not very much money, and sometimes no money at all. And if you're enthusiastic about a particular performer, then just try and develop a relationship and put everything into it. And if you keep at it, I think you can have a good and you have some talent. There's a good chance you'll get somewhere eventually. So
Inspiring words.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Mick Glossop.
Okay, my pleasure.